Hey everyone, Mr. Weekman here, just going to walk you through the principles of design. While I'm walking you through this, if you could possibly download or pull up this worksheet that has the design principles on it, so then as we go through them in this video, you can fill out the definitions. And while you're doing this, I don't want you to just do it as an exercise of just blankly filling in information to fill out the worksheet. I want you to put yourself in the position of the person who made these designs. In this class, you're going to be making a lot of different things. You're going to be designing a lot of things. And these principles of design are kind of your backbone, your toolbox of information and skills and ideas that can go into what you're doing. So, as we get started here, I would love it if you pulled up that worksheet, and you can always pause the video if you need to get more information. So let's get going here. Principles of design. Our first principle we're going to talk about is balance. And then we're going to move on to color, emphasis, line, shape and form, size, rhythm, texture, and unity. Each of these principles basically represents the very thing that a designer is looking to do to an image to make it unique and stand out. You can see here, even in these album covers, there's consciously thought through fonts, and there's a rhythm to the way these splatters work. There's a texture, whether it's very clean in these and simplified colors, or if there's a rougher texture like there is in this one. As a designer, we need to think about these things. So let's learn more about them. So the first principle that we have defined is balance. Arranging pictures, shapes, or text so that they look even and pleasing. So there's asymmetric balance and there's symmetric balance. And basically you're looking at what is it repeated perfectly on one side to the other? Or is there a little bit of variety? Like this one's offset, right? The character's on this side, and then on this side there isn't a dark character. That would give it balance on this side too, but there's more white text. So this character balances with the white text and the more text on this side to give it a nice balance here. So arranging picture shapes or text so that they look even and pleasing. Here's some layout examples of balance, and you can see here on this, even these 2 pages of this magazine, someone thought a lot about balance and like the way these words work across the design of the template, and then these words that carry down are balanced with the picture, and then the picture up top here is balanced with the words down here. So you could have big words taking up the whole page, but they choose smaller words here and then have a big picture to kind of give your visual balance and visual peace when you look at something. All right, the next one is color. How light or dark an object is. Color helps us to tell the difference between objects and helps us set the mood of an image. So you can change the mood just by changing something to black and white. Or you can change the mood, as you can see in this, to like adding in these kind of cool textured elements, but then also bringing it bright yellow. So if this was a black and white image, it would be very different of a feel than this bright yellow and this advertisement that kind of comes in then. So how light or dark an object is, so boldness, values, and then color helps us to tell the difference between objects so you can have things stand out and helps you set the mood of an image. So certain colors even have associations that people have when they look at them, bold or royal or sad or happy. So there's some examples there. The next one is emphasis. So when you're looking at emphasis, this is the main focus of the design. So your emphasis is going to be where the eye is going to want to lead in the design. So this is created by a shape, color, or size difference that catches the attention. So even here, like the shoes, as you're looking at this, is going to maybe be an emphasis, or the shirt because of the color. And then it just has a little bit of text right here that kind of catches your eye and makes you want to look over there. Same thing with here, emphasis on this bright yellow that stands out because of the color and the font and the variety of fonts here. but it's created by a shape, color, or size difference that catches attention. So your focal point. Here's another great example for emphasis. So you can see here that's almost sketchy style writing, handwriting really makes these glasses stand out because they're the only thing in the image that has color. So if these pictures were even in color, these glasses wouldn't stand out as much. And because that's colorful, your eye is naturally attracted to it, but it has a nice balance to the whole entire thing, and the emphasis is clear on the glasses, and then you follow up and follow the writing on what it is. It's a really nice design. There's a lot of good negative space in that one too. All right, so line is the next one, and that is the connection of two or more points. Lines can also be seen in the arrangement of text and objects. So you can see here that there's these lines kind of drawing your eye in to read this text. And there's also the lines of the snow. So the snow have these really natural, smooth flowing lines, which actually can almost be followed in these lines over here. So there's a repetition to these lines that follows with the repetition of the way the snow moves and the image behind it. So the connection of two or more points, lines can also be seen in the arrangement of text and objects. So this would be an example of repetition of line through an object or a shape or a line. Again, here, this is not necessarily a direct line, right? But you get these lines because of the repetition and the way that these objects of these poles kind of bring back, and also the way the person's snowboard's going. You can kind of see this visual line that carries through on this design. So I am specifically showing you a bunch of images just from one theme so that you can go and find your own theme to apply these to. So when you're looking for your images next week that represent these, you can easily kind of choose one theme and go with it. Shape is the next one, and shape is an object having both height and width, also the form we see when two or more things are placed together. So having an object with both height and width is going to be shape, and it's also the form we see when two or more things are placed together. So you can see here when these images are placed next to each other, they create this shape on the background wall that has uniform like levels between the images, and they have height and width, kind of like this shape right here, which is, playing with the idea of a mountain as well as a buffalo. So it's kind of fun to play with shape as a designer and learn about how you can use negative space in shape. And we'll talk about that when we talk about logo design, but using negative space to hide things like these mountains. Shape is the next one. The next one is going to be size, and that's an object's largeness or smallness. Also, its visual lightness or heaviness. So size is going to be obviously just how big something is, but you can play with that. You can see here that it creates space because of the largeness of this object and the emphasis that's put on it because of this one being in the background. If it's just this, we don't understand that there's a space relationship inside of this. Also, with visual lightness or heaviness. So you can see here that this person, there's a lot of lightness of colors around them and they stand out. And then this tree really stands out because of how huge it is, because it's bold and it's dark. And you think, wow, that must be a massive tree. That kind of frames the image as a design. Rhythm is the next one. So this is going to be the movement we see in art, and you can show movement by repetition and pattern. So you can see here this movement of this binding you can anticipate because of the rhythm. Even here, this repetition of these skulls or the pattern kind of shows movement and kind of gets your eye almost excited when it looks at it. So the movement we see in art is rhythm. Texture is the next one, how a piece of art feels. So you can imagine feeling it. So it can be an implied texture, which would be something that when you feel it, it's still just a printed out. or it's an actual texture. So the way it actually feels when you touch it. So you can see here, this would be implied. The designer used different textures to make it look like it would have a texture to it. And then this again is implied, but you can imagine this one being an actual texture. And you can play with that even in your designs, printing things out and creating textures. Unity is the next one, and it's a similar quality that brings together the different things in a design. So how are unity and balance correlated? Well, they are definitely similar in a lot of ways, but unity, I think, has a lot to do with color and playing with different elements to have them unified. Like this guy's looking up in this direction where the snowboarder's coming, placing him so that that correlated. And then this pole leads your eye down in a yellow, bright yellow pole, leads your eye down to planet Earth, which is where they kind of want you to land. And these are all kind of coming back to him. So there's a nice circular unity in this design. Same thing here with this one. The colors of this is selected specifically to match up with the colors of his snowboard so that you get this kind of back and forth thing your eye does. Unity. Here's just some more examples of different designs and people that have thought through these different designs. So as you go through and think about these elements of art or principles of design, I hope that you get ideas of how fun this class can really be. And thanks so much for tuning in. Good luck turning that worksheet in, and I appreciate your efforts. Have a great day.